before the heaven and the earth came to existence, what was I? Before the heaven and the earth came to existence, what was I? Before the heaven and the earth came to existence, what was I? My friends and the practitioners, practice meditation, emphasize practicing. Anyone can practice this method. The practitioner want to practice, they have to complete belief in their mind. And when come to the meditation hall, follows the rule of the temple or the practice retreat. All of the understanding, even achieve in the practice in any of other practice methods, we just put away, we just put aside and like the beginning practitioner. Select one of 5 questions. And with the question, we add normally. Add the question clearly, diligently, like before the heaven and the earth came to existence, what was I? You add clearly. Like we don't use the system to focus. We don't use the system to control. We don't use any other. Like this practice method, the practitioner always remember that nothing to gain, nothing to see, and nothing to fear. In our practice, we don't seek in the enlightenment. In the practice, we don't gain the peaceful thing. Don't chase to the objective. Just ask a question, raising doubt. Continue to add the question, maintain doubt. Doubt means have the practitioner sweep out all the self-attachment, sweep out all the discrimination. Like now we lead the practitioner to the the basis of the ignorance, self-attachment, or the root of the birth and death, the so-called birth and death that lead to the root. We cannot like think in the root, but the down lead to the root, the fundamental or the basic of self-attachment. And from the basic of the self-attachment, the down will cut off the ignorant self-attachment too. When we cut off the illusion, self-attachment, ignorance, at that second, at that time, could achieve the enlightenment. So that like wake up from the open eye dreaming. So, practice. The practice method require 2 very important points. like the first thing that they believe in their own mind. The second thing that maintain doubt. But normally in the system, in the talk, we always raising so many kind of talk from discrimination, from dualism, and subjective, objective, raising the set attachment. Like we think that the right, we attach the right, and again the wrong. We raise discrimination. We think that the rich attack the rich, and again the poor. Always in discrimination like that, living in dualism, and raising attachment, suffer worry, feeling, anxiety, rising from that. Now we practice. Ask the question, rising down. Doubt means nothing. Doubt means no objective. Doubt means sweep out all kind of the thought. Now that's the explanation. We don't use doubt to again, don't use doubt to avoid or destroy the thought, because doubt that's the thought too. One thought ignored, but the discrimination thought, the attachment thought, leads to suffer, leads to worry, fearing, leads to the illusion. But the doubt, that thought will lead out of samsara, or lead to freedom from samsara. The doubt will lead to the achieve enlightenment. That's the explanation too. Just practice. From the practice, you receive the Buddha nature. So ask the question, rising down, maintain down. For improve the belief in the mind, we have to always follow the experienced one, follows the practitioner friends to help improve the belief in the zone mind and help maintain doubt.
Dear Sanghas and Dharma friends, for practicing patient Zen, we don't have the characteristic discrimination. Everybody can practice. Women or men can practice. Old or young can practice. Smart or not smart can practice. Good or bad person can also practice. Practice this method need the requirement condition. First one is to trust in the mind. Second one is to maintain in the doubt. By asking the what question, we will maintain in the doubt. Believe in the mind and maintain in doubt is the two conditions that practitioner need to help in practicing this method. The idea of to trust in the mind is the idea that we trust in our self-nature, the Buddhahood. That's completely not different than the Buddha nature, and is already there within in our mind. If out of the mind we seeking for the Buddhahood, that is the wrong belief. Out of the mind we believe or seeking for another Dharma, that's also the wrong thought. Because when we trust in our Buddhahood, meaning we believe our mind exact at what the Buddha mind is not different from the Buddha nature. And when we have this idea, then we will believe in the method and ask the what of question to maintaining doubt. The doubt is the thought of want to know, but we don't know. So by asking the what of question, we will have the feeling that want to know and we don't know, and we keep asking the what of question continuously. So don't try to answer the question and think that we know enough something. So whatever we know from this knowledge of the brain, that is limited by the karma, and that is the knowing of duality, knowing of self-attachment and ignorance. From this knowing that being continuing to bring us to reincarnate into the different body. That is why the Buddha said the knowing of the brain is the door of disaster. And because of its knowing and we are attached into this knowing, we cannot liberate ourselves from the birth and death. The doubt is the way we go opposite of the knowing. The doubt is the way we return back to the self nature. The doubt is the way we return back to the fundamental of ignorance and break through this state we will attain in Buddhahood. The Tao is just automatically will take us there. We don't try to plan to get to the fundamental of ignorance. So just maintaining doubt by ask the what question. There are 5 questions that the wise teacher already selected for us. So we select only one question and keep continuing to practice. Don't try to change the question up and down, back and forth from our emotions. And that is ignorance. It's not the practice, because all of this thought would be in controlling us, bringing us to reincarnation in a different body for so many lives already. Now to make a commitment, one mind, one practice, by ask the what of question. Only the question we already select at the beginning, don't try to change it. Empty clouds and masters say that the question, the what of question is just like the cane. The Tao is the walking. So if we holding on the question and think that we are walking, then we not really practice on the right path, because we using the question just stir up the doubt. The doubt is the way, the doubt is the practice, not the question. So just like we holding on the cane and not walking, then we cannot go anywhere, right? Exactly at the practice. So the question seemed like no flavor at all. But if we ask the question, don't recite in the question, remember. Ask the question sincerely, clearly, and continuously. The doubt will automatically arise in our mind. And the doubt will bring us to the fundamental of ignorance, the fundamental of birth and death. If we have the thought, want to get to the fundamental of ignorance, and we don't maintain the doubt, that's also illusion thought, because we want to gain in the practice. We want to attain in the practice, and that we fall back into self-attachment. When we have the self-attachment, meaning we don't trust in our mind, because we are seeking for something out of our mind. The 6th page also saying that the contemplation, mindfulness contemplation, meditation is not a liberation Dharma. Why? Because we have an object to seek for, to attain of. That is why we cannot liberate ourselves from the birth and death. And because we allow the knowing of the brain keep acting, keep cultivating information, and keep leading us deep into samsara. Doesn't matter how high we had already attaining of from other method, but likewise, Zen Master suggesting us whoever joining into this temple to practice this method, we need to put it all what we had practiced before to the side and like throw up all the information we had been cultivated in the stomach, in our mind. We need to let it go and completely, fully with our heart and mind to practice this method. So this method is really special. We cannot use understanding to get this method. We need to practice. We need to trust in our mind and practice. If we don't have the trust in the mind, don't practice, we cannot get to the Buddhahood. That is why we say that the right Dharma of the Buddha teaching is non-abiding. So this is really difficult for us to understand if we keep using the discrimination mind to seek for the information. So it's hard for understanding. Again, just practice. Trust in the method, trust in your mind, and practice. Select one of the 5 questions that we have here and just start practice. Just the practice, just like we a person who get lost in the ocean, right? And we trying to swim back to the land. And this method, just like the foul we grabbing on and swimming, helping us swimming back to the land. When we think we cannot practice this method because we attach into our self-attachment, our seeking mind, that's why we cannot practice. So now we already hear the explanation from the wise teacher about the method. Now just give right to the trust of the mind and practice. So don't need to worry something else. Just like we go to the doctor to get treat from our physical body sickness, we gotta have the trust in the doctor and listen to the doctor and take the medication. Sincerely taking the medication, then we will treat our physical sickness exactly as we are doing here for spiritual practice. We trust in the wise teacher, trust in the method, trust in our mind, and sincerely practice. Gradually, we will get you to the practice. That is the way we're not wasting our time to meet the right Dharma and learning the Dharma and practicing the Dharma. That's what we would like to share for the new practitioner who just starting to practice. It's really difficult for us to understanding exactly what the Buddha idea or exactly what we share in here. It's really hard for us to trust in the method, but just make a commitment to practice when we already make a commitment to join into the community. You know, we don't blame anyone if you misunderstanding at what we're sharing here. Even in the Buddha time, a lot of arahats left the stage when the Buddha started to share this method to the audience. So for us, we're not the same, you know, I mean, we are just at the same at what the Buddha time was, but we should not give up. Now just select the question, one question, and ask the Hautou question, replay the question on our thought, because we always continuing to thinking everything. Even in the dream, we still thinking too. Our consciousness never stop acting, never pause any moment in our life. It keep continuing to create all different discrimination, good and bad, wrong and right all the time. So now we replay those thoughts by ask the what question to maintain the doubt. For example, before the heaven and an earth come to existence, what was I? When we don't know, and we ask again, before the heaven and an earth come to existence, what was I? So the don't know of the question and want to know the question, the answer, that is a feeling of doubt. So this feeling will take us to the before thought. All 5 questions we give out here just have one purpose: to bring us to the before thought, to bring us to the fundamental of the consciousness. That's just an explanation. Again, don't try to understand, just practice. Then you will experience about what is the feeling of the Hautou mean here. Don't keep trying to understand. The doubt will bring us to the Hautou. Don't think that we get bored on this question and then we change another question, and then we change back to another question, and we keep changing the question, trying to maintain the doubt. So now this doubt, the feeling of doubt on this way becoming the curiosity, because we want to get the feeling of doubt. That is the object of the mind, and we chase after the objects of the mind like this way, we will be lost in the birth and death. That is why the pastor encourages us, doesn't matter how feeling we get, even bored or excited, just ask the question we already selected continuously, clearly, and uninterruptedly. Because our consciousness always create a different objects for us to keep holding on, and we should just keep on the practice, just like our mind have only one. We don't have the two mind. Just exactly at what the space has the only carry on the night or the light, right? When the light appear, the night will disappear. If the night appear, the light will be disappear. Our mind just like the space. If we holding on the practice, other thought will disappear. But if we keep chasing after the thought, the doubt will disappear. For Chan practitioner, we need to maintain the doubt. Maintaining doubt, we will automatically go beyond the relativity of the subjects and the objects. For beginner, it's very easy to ask the Hautou question. Sincerely in asking the Hautou question to maintain the doubt. It's really simple, pretty easy. Nothing really complicated. Don't just make it complicated. As a student who sincerely in his study, he will sincerely and wholly work on his studying and will seek for help from the teacher to help him to be success in studying. And we are not the same. Just keep on the practice and seek for help if we get any obstacle in the practice. Now it's time for Q&A. If anyone has any question, please bring it up. Namo Sakyamuni Buddha. Good luck to invite sư cô Tịnh Hải. Namo Sakyamuni Buddha, dear Thai, dear everyone, would you teaching me the idea of out of the mind and seek for the Dharma? I don't get it. When we say out of the mind and seek for something, meaning that we still being controlled by the objects and the subjects. The outside of the mind is an example like out of the space, there is no other space. Out of the time, there's no other time. So the meaning of vô lượng tâm, vô lượng thọ, meaning that the mind throughout space and time. When we believe something out of the mind, meaning that we seek for something outside of the mind, and we seek for something out of the Dharma. In the Lotus Sutra, the Buddha explained that the beggar already had the diamond in his pocket, but he didn't realize that. He keeps seeking for something, begging outside for food and for money. The pastors also have an explanation that we already have the jewels in our house. Why don't we just spend it and we keep going out and seek for something and get help from something outside? That is the idea of out of the mind, we seek for something. Because we don't trust in our mind, we don't trust that we already rich. We don't trust we already have the diamond in our pocket. That's why we keep go out and seek for something else and get help from other. In the Lotus Sutra, there is a story the Buddha created to help us that the beggar left his home and keep begging for food outside, and he didn't realize his father is a rich one, already have everything. The father trying to tell him that you already have everything here, just come back. But the son scared of the father and keep run away because he didn't recognize the rich one is his father. And the father kept chasing him. He kept running and running away. So the father realized that, okay, we should not do that. And the father pretend like a beggar, just like the son, and get close to the son. When the son gets to the father and feels safe with the father invited him back to his house and given him a job and slowly like upgrades his job, get close to his position, and until the son completely trusts the father, he announced to the community that this is my son. I've been lost him for over 50 years, and now he is I just want to let everybody know he is my son. He will take all of my um, possessions. So that is just a skillful means the Buddha created to teaching, to help practitioners to have an image why the Buddha create a different skillful mean from the lower level to a higher level, from a direct method to the direct method, to help practitioners to believe in their Buddhahood and practice until they attain in Buddhahood. But actually, there are only one Dharma. So, therefore, we said out of the Dharma, seeking for another Dharma, that is the self-attachment. Out of the mind, seeking for something, that is not the trust in the mind. So we are practicing the Dharma the prajna dharmas. And if we can maintain the Tao, is the way we contemplating on the prajna seat and keep continuing to practice to attaining the prajnahood. But the Tao has no form, nothing for us to see, to seek for, to feel up. But if we create the Tao as something for us to hold it on, to seek for, to feel up, then the Tao becoming an object of the mind, and that is not the prajna. Do you understand? She answered, yes, thank you. Kim Yến, please. Namo Sakyamuni Buddha. Dear Sanghas and Dharma friends, dear thầy, today we have a new practitioner joining with us. I have share something, and this practitioner already heard you share about a question before heaven and earth come to existence, what was I? So she really new to the practice, and she doesn't know why you bring that up. Could you help her explain more about this? Thầy responding that this method called Hautou method or pasteurized Zen, and this method being transmitted direct from the Buddha to Mahakassapa, from Mahakassapa to Ananda transmitted to Thangma Tu, the third patriarch, and transmit to Tubakupta, and keep continuing to transmit it up to now. That is why we say Pastra Zen, meaning we the method transmitted direct from the Buddha mind to the Pastra, and to the whoever get enlightenment will be transmitted. So, and the transmission needs to be exact at just like the seal is got to be exact at what the Buddha mind is. That's also the word. It's just figure of speech. For this method is actually beyond the word. No word can describe about this method. That's why we cannot use the word, use the book to explain about this method. Is being transmitted direct from the mind to mind. And to be able to attain in Buddhahood, we need to have the Tao of the birth and death. Then to practice, to mastering our mind from the birth and death. Once we mastering our mind from birth and death, that is the state we attain in Buddhahood. To be able to do that, we need to have the trust in the mind, trust in our Buddhahood. When we have the trust in the mind, trust in our Buddhahood, we will be able to practice diligently. To be able to practice diligently, we need to have the trust in the mind completely. When we have the trust in the mind completely, and we will be able to practice diligently, with nothing can be abstract us from the practice. That is the way we are relying in the Dharma. And when we truly trust in the mind, truly trust in the practice, and practice in the correct way, doesn't matter if the Buddha appear in front of us and tell us there is another method to practice to attain the Buddhahood, we will just deny that and tell the Buddha that I already have the method to attain in Buddhahood. So you just give it to someone else. So That is the complete trust in the mind. Because the Buddha appearing of us also is just the illusion in our mind. A person who truly practices on the right path of the Buddha teaching, that person will practice with non-self-attachment. That is the right Dharma of the Buddha teaching. So this method is being transmitted in the state of Linh Sơn mountain. At that time, the Buddha didn't say a word. He just raised the lotus on his hand. And everybody was kind of surprised and arise the doubt. Only Mahakassapa smiled to the Buddha. That's why we have this Kong An. And other people don't know what the Buddha means. They arise the doubt. And the doubt, whoever have this doubt in their mind and they will keep continuing to keep this thought in their mind, they will attain in Buddhahood eventually. And Mahakassapa already attained in Buddhahood when he see the Buddha raise the lotus flower in his hand. That is why we said this method beyond word. But now, because we have so solid self-attachment and ignorance, our consciousness starting get more clever, create so many different information. It's really difficult for us to attain Buddhahood when we can encounter to any skillful mean from the wise teacher. This is why we need to ask the what of question to keep maintaining doubt. So one Mahakassapa attending Buddhahood smile to the Buddha say out loud the poem that I have the right Dharma, the Buddha roams. Then I have see Mahakassapa who the one attending it, and be careful, take care of this Dharma, don't let it destroy. And this Dharma is beyond word and phrase. So this is the method. So Nirvana meaning no birth and death, never changing, never born, never died. The true Dharma is no form, and the door of the phenomena is the door of the enlightenment. And this beyond word to teach the Dharma. And I transmit this Dharma into Mahakassapa, and you should keep that safe and keep continuing to spread it later on for the late generation. So this method keep continuing transmit up to now, becoming the Hautou meditation. So the Tao is not the curiosity thought. So we don't want to seek for information. If we seek for information, the thought becoming the curiosity thought. It's not the doubt. So there are so many Kong An that help practitioner to arise doubt before the Hautou meditation arise. So like the Kong An of the 5 diamonds, the Kong An practitioner come to ask the Hoàng Bá what is the meaning of the Buddha teaching, what the principle of the Buddha teaching. On another Kong An, what the purpose that Bodhidharma come to China. So all of those Kong An, it just have one purpose, to help practitioner to arise the doubt. But now practitioner, they using the Kong An and trying to explain the idea of the Kong An. So the công án becoming curiosity is not a doubt anymore, and that is not the right practice. So for us, beyond word doesn't mean that we not sharing anything. Beyond words meaning that we maintain the doubt in our mind. We're not stuck in either side of the objects or the subjects. Now, just see the 5 questions. The 5 questions, select one question and ask to stir up the doubt. The doubt will bring us to the Hautou. Hautou meaning the before thought. And to ask the Hautou question, maintaining doubt, that is the way we pay attention to the Hautou or look at the Hautou by asking the Hautou questions. There are a lot of explanation about the method, about how to practice. But if we attach into the explanation and we don't practice, and we practice with the attachment of any idea we share in here, that's also the self-attachment. That's not the right path also. Similarly, ask the Hautou question to maintain in doubt. That is the way. So don't worry about anything else. Select the question that we have the feeling we get familiar with, and we feel we really want to know the answer of this question, but we just ask the question. Don't try to find the answer. Ask normally, ask naturally, ask softly in our mind. Just like every day we doing, working, talking, eating, sleeping, we always arise a lot of thought of angriness, thought of feariness, thought of worriness, and thought of judging order. So replace those thoughts by ask the Hautou question to maintain in doubt. Ask the Hautou question when we eating. Ask the Hautou question when we walking. Ask the Hautou question when we working. Ask the Hautou question when we sitting and when we talking. So when we can be able to replay the question in our mind in other situations, in other environment, we will be able to control us from the birth and death. That is the idea of to put the practice at a priority in other situation, in other environment. Wisdom Zen Master said, when our mind tends to do something, we will have the tendency to lean on to that side. Like in our mind, worry about making the money, we will focus in making the money. When our mind lean to the birth and death, mastering our mind from birth and death, we will automatically have the tendency in practicing and ask the Hautou question, maintaining doubt. That is the way we practicing eliminate the self-attachment. Just ask the Hautou question to maintain in doubt for now. In all the situation, in all the environment, just remember to ask the Hautou question, maintain in doubt. When we can practice diligently in our daytime, in the night time, in sleep, we will be able to practice. So gradually, we will end the consciousness, end all the birth and death, and the root of ignorance, self-attachment, and we will liberate ourselves from samsara. So that is the practice. So, and we keep practicing and get help from the wise teacher. Gradually, we will get a trust in the mind and practice diligently and attaining Buddhahood eventually. Now, just practice. Select the question and ask the Hautou question to have the feeling of want to know and we don't know. So don't try to keep cultivating the information from whoever sharing and don't practice. That's it really wrong. For us, you just need to ask the Hautou question, maintain and doubt. That is the practice. We are running out of time. We end the session for now. Goodbye, everyone. Namo Sakyamuni Buddha.